Hi, my name is Julie Meyer, and I'm going to be sharing with you a dream that I had called Come and Sit a While. It's actually in my book called Invitation to Encounter, where I just believe the Lord gave me such keys to encountering His heart and His secrets. I had a dream, and in my dream I was asleep, and I felt someone tap me on the shoulder, and I woke up in my dream, but I'm still sleeping. And there was a man at the left side of my bed, and he pointed across the room, and I happened to be at a conference. And so I was staying in a hotel, and you know, in the hotel rooms you have your bed, and then you have that little table with two chairs. They're in every hotel. And I looked, and at the foot of my bed in one of the chairs was the Lord. It was Jesus sitting there in this chair. And he looked at me in my dream and he said, "Come and sit a while." And I remember I got out of bed, and I can still remember that I could feel the carpet on my feet. It was like I was really living this dream. I could feel the carpet on my feet in this dream. And I walked over to the table and I sat down, and Jesus, he just looked. I remember that he had brown hair. He had brown eyes, and I love this part because it was like he had the Vogue look. It was like he hadn't shaved for about 3 days. And I was thinking about that, and I was thinking, why would he look like that? And I thought, this is what I thought, that Jesus did not come to me as the judge. He didn't come to me as the king, but he came to me as the beloved. He came to me as the lover of my soul. And I remember that I sat down in the chair right beside him, and his eyes were piercing. It was as if he looked right through me, and everything that I could neatly tuck away from you or from my friends, any type of hidden sin that I could just neatly tuck away so that no one could see, it was like his eyes were razors, just looking over all of the hidden motives, the secret sin in my life. And it was like everything that I might have tucked away was just open and laid bare on the table. And I was like, those eyes, those piercing eyes that see everything. They know everything about me, and yet his love for me was so strong. And his eyes in this dream, I remember his eyes were like conviction and mercy meeting. It was like conviction and mercy entwining themselves with each other in a way that in the midst of weakness, you just want to run into him. It's what makes you run into Jesus in the midst of failure, in the midst of weakness, because his eyes, these beautiful eyes where mercy and conviction kiss and become one. They're the eyes that make you want to lean into him. And I was just literally on the edge of my seat, and he said again, "Come and sit a while." And I noticed that in front of him was a book, and it was an old book, one that you would bring out at your family reunions that you would never let your children play with because it's old and it has special memories. And I remember this book, it was a real old leather, and I could tell that it was very precious to the Lord because he was looking at it as if it meant a great deal to him, and he was feeling the edges of this book with his finger. And I remember that he turned the book around to me, and I read the title. And the title of the book was Hidden Secrets of the Ages, Past, Present, and Things That Are to Come. What a book title. And I remember that he just looked at me, and he just kind of nodded for me to open the cover. And I opened the cover, and I could see some chapters in the book. And there was a chapter that said, things yet to be revealed. And underneath each chapter was the phrase, come and sit a while. There was a chapter called Walking Down Ancient Paths. And then right under it, it said, come and sit a while. There was a chapter that read 2 Kings 6. And then it said, come and sit a while. And in the dream, Jesus, he just took his hand and he closed the book and he said, let's just sit and let's just know. And I remember that he just closed the book, and it's like the whole rest of the night, I just sat there with Jesus. And when I woke up from the dream in the morning, I felt like I had been with the Lord. I felt like I had been with the King all night. I felt like I actually lived. Song of Solomon, it says in Song of Solomon, it says, the king is at his table. It says, the fragrance of my life arises before him. And I felt like I was sitting at that table with my beloved. And then what I love about this dream is I started on a Bible study. I wanted to find these chapters in the book, walking down ancient paths. Come and sit a while. Walking down ancient paths is from Jeremiah 6. Or it says, stand at the crossroads and cry out for the ancient paths. And what that means is it means cry out and walk and tread in the steps that the patriarchs tread in before you. And it's just like I felt like I'm going to sit before the Lord and I'm going to cry out for the ancient paths. And it said, things yet to be revealed. To me, that's Revelations 4:1, where the Lord says, come up here, come up, ascend, come up, and I will show you what must take place. If you look at 2 Kings 6, it's where Elisha hears the secrets that the king is speaking in his own bedroom, and Elisha's not even in the bedroom. But Elisha hears secrets that the king is speaking in secret. And it's also where Elisha prays for his servant and his eyes are open to see the host of heaven. You should read 2 Kings 6. I believe the promise of 2 Kings 6, of walking down ancient paths, of seeing things yet to be revealed, where that comes, the key is sitting before the Lord. Beloved, the glory of Mary of Bethany is Mary of Bethany. When the king was at her house, she sat at his feet. And the key is that Mary of Bethany heard things that his disciples didn't even hear. Because she sat at his feet, it says Mary heard his words. And Mary heard that which the disciples did not hear. Mary heard, I'm going to die. That's what she heard. That's why Mary of Bethany took all of her worth, her inheritance, in that jar of perfume. That's why she poured all of her inheritance upon the feet of Jesus, because she sat at his feet and she heard his words. This is not just a dream for me. Come and sit a while. It's a dream for you. Betty, it's a dream for you. It's a dream for you. I just feel like that Betty, that there's a you're sitting out there and you're saying, I want to dream the dreams of God. And I'm saying, Betty, this is for you. Roland, this is for you. Abigail, this is for you. Larry, this is for you. This is not just a dream for me, but he who has ears, let him hear and come and sit with the Lord. And I tell you, let his kind eyes wash over you. Let him reveal his heart to you. come and sit with the Lord, that God would tell not just me, not just dreamers, not just leaders, but that God would tell you His secrets, that God, by His Spirit, would wash you with His kind eyes that see all and know all and love with this never-ending, passionate love. And I invite you to go on this journey, to open the Word and to just sit with Jesus. And I say to you, come and sit a while. Come and sit a while.